Good afternoon, everybody. Okay, guys, any question? So we are done with the course basically, and you have exam now. Okay, so we are like there will be like 40 videos in total, and of course each video is a little more than 50 minutes. So it takes care of remaining two. Okay, so that's why I did not want to put lot of material, so give you sufficient, but we have finished the syllabus. So any question you have, just let me know. Any question, guys? Okay. If not, then let's solve the tutorial problems. So chapter 8, to begin with, I posted the tutorial problems, and chapter 8 problems are easy meaning that it is time taking because they are design problems. However, whatever you studied so far, everything will be applied there. So just a little bit from the 8th chapter. Otherwise, it's a design problem, meaning that you have to utilize everything learned in control theory. Okay. So I'm leaving it on you, basically. You will understand the problem, what it is asking accordingly, since you have studied the other chapters. So there, the something criteria has to be met, and for that you have to change the system parameters to get it. That's the what the problems are. So I leave it on you to do it. Okay, for chapter 7, the remaining questions we can attempt that. Okay, so let's start with problem number 8. So we solve problem number 1 and 2 probably. At least 1 and 2 are similar basically. So if you can solve 1, you can also solve. So let's solve B7, 8. Okay. Okay, some problem, just hold on. Okay, so chapter number B7, 8. Yeah, guys, long. Yeah, it's okay now. Okay, so what is the question? Question is B7, 8. Hold on. So it is asking draw a Nyquist locus for the unity feedback loop feedback control system with the open loop transfer function GS. So GS equal to K1 minus S over S plus 1. Okay. Using the Nyquist stability criteria, determine the stability of the closed loop system. Okay. Now, this one, what is the meaning of that? So you have to use, basically, just you can use just this part to draw the Nyquist diagram, and then you can, the k is basically just to multiply with a factor, and you can trace the same thing. So once you have the Nyquist diagram, you can just multiply by k, and you can plot it, right? So what we are plotting, so we assume k equal to 1, and plot for, we always plot for k equal to 1. Okay, so plot for k equal to 1. Yeah, and so that we have gs equal to 1 minus s and s plus 1. And then what do you have to plot? Nyquist diagram, how do you plot? So what you do like you have a S plane, right? You have a S plane, and you have here the GS plane. In fact, GS times HS. GS times HS plane, right? And we assume HS equal to 1. Yeah, so that is feedback. You assume this is just a proportional, basically. So the feedback transfer function, you assume it to be equal to 1. So this is equal to GS only. So how do you have to plot? So you take, you plot like this. So you take a semicircle and clockwise, yeah, and for that you are plotting, yeah, and you are going to find out accordingly for this, you know that this has to be infinite, right? Radius is infinite. So for this S, you put, you may have some points. So you can find out which those points are. You can have say this point is crucial, this point, or this point. You can have a few points, and you can find out basically when you move like this one how those values will be. Yeah, accordingly you can plot it here how those values will be. Yeah, so let's look at that. Okay, so we will get some ideas. So it is 1 minus s plus 1. So gs equal to 1 minus s and s plus 1. Now we can have s values, you can and accordingly we can have what the corresponding gs, and then you can find out. So looking back here, so we start from 0, for example. We can start from 0 and go like this, up and like this. So we have s equal to 0, then s equal to some value 1, for example, or we can straight away go from s equal to 0 to s equal to infinity, like that also, or in between some value also you can take. So let's say s equal to 0. If you put s equal to 0, then what you get? gs equal to, get simply 1, right? Okay. Then if s equal to put, let's say 1, s equal to you are going upward. If you are going upward, that really means you are going on the imaginary line. So this will be I omega, some value I, right? So accordingly you will have not 1, but let's call it 0 plus I1, right? So this will be 0 plus I1, right? I1 or J1, right? So in that case, you put value, you get 1 minus, 1 minus I1, right? And then you have 1 plus I1. We get this value. Okay. Now you can go any value up. Finally, you can go 0 plus I infinity. And in that case, what do you get? you will get the same thing. We can write as 1 over s minus 1 divided by 1 plus 1 over s, right? So if we put this, we put right here, then what happens? 1 over infinity, it will come and it will be 0. So this will be also 0, this will be also 0, this you get equal to minus 1. So simply you get equal to minus 1. Yeah. Okay. So we covered so far from where? From here to here. We have gone already. Now we can go this way. So when you have infinite this, that really means you are, you can write like that. So for example, you can go to, since this is infinite, this is infinite, right? So then what happens? The component of these two are also infinite actually, right? So this it is infinite cos theta, infinite sin theta, and they are also infinite. So both are they represent infinite plus I infinite basically. Right? This is what they represent. Yeah. So basically this. Since this is very big, no, so they are infinite basically. So hence, accordingly, you can, for all other points we have infinite plus I infinite, and we get the same value, right? We get equal to minus 1. So here for whole range from here to here, we have GS is equal to minus 1 only, right? We get minus 1. Now from here to here, so we have this value, we have minus 1, minus 1. Okay, now what about this point? So we have let us say minus I 1, right? So again, so let's go next second page. So you have S, then GS. Okay, now let's say we have minus I1, right? So what value we will have? We will have 1 plus I1, 1 plus I1 divided by, we will have 1 minus I1. Oh, sorry, 1 minus I. Right? So we have this, and then we can have 0 plus 0, 0 plus I0. And in that case, if you put that, we go back to 1 value. Right? So we go back to 1 value. Yeah. Okay. So we have 1. Okay. Now, so we know that it is like this one. But remember that we have to go little bit slow, basically, because what we have to do, we have to count whether there's a looping or not, you know. So there may be some looping. So on this line, we have to take more points basically. Yeah. So although I'm telling how to go about to actually draw the Nyquist plot, but you have to be careful. You take a lot of points there. Yeah. So it's important so that you have the big picture, you know. So like we take a lot of points here so that we have plot of GS, plot of G in high resolution. Okay. Okay. But anyway, here the idea is to show you how to plot it. Okay, now once we have that, then what we have to do? We have to find out the radius and the angle of Z, so that finally these two things will be plotted together. Yeah, so in this case, so what is the value of this? Value of this will be 1. And what is the angle? Angle is, so this really means 1 plus I0. Yeah, and the angle will be simply tan. We can write is tan inverse 0 divided by 1. Yeah, so that really means angle will be equal to 0 only. Yeah, so okay, what about here? You look at it this, then what? Magnitude of this will be 1 plus square plus 1 square root, basically, right? So we get root 2 by root 2 equal to 1. So here also we get 1 only. Okay, but what is the angle? So for angle we have to, so we multiply conjugate of this. So we get 1 minus I 1 square plus divided by 2, right? So we get tan inverse, and then a square of this one. Yeah, so we get 1. So we can work out here. So 1 minus I 1 to 1, right? Then plus I1 square, right? And minus 2I, right? This is equal to 1, and this becomes minus 1 minus 2I, or simply becomes minus 2 minus. Yeah, so minus 2I divided by we have 1 plus 1. So divided by, so basically this is nothing but equal to minus I. This value is equal to minus I simply. Yeah. Okay, if that is the case, then what is the value of tan? So tan, we can also write this 0 minus I. Yeah, so that's why you have 1 as a magnitude, and tan inverse what? Minus 1 and 0, right? Okay, so what value it gives? What is the meaning of that? We have imaginary, which is negative, and then we have 0. So sine is minus 1. Okay, we have sine is minus 1 and cos is 0. What is the meaning of that? So we have to go as per the quadrant. Okay, so we know that any angle, so that's why you have to be careful. So quadrant, okay, so if you see here, the sign will be plus, this sign is also plus here, here the sign is minus, yeah, and you have cos here plus, or cos here plus, cos is minus, here also cos minus. So what we see here, it talking about is at least sine. Okay, so sine is minus 1. Sine is minus 1, right? So that is, sine is negative, and hence we have to, that really means sine is minus 1. It should be somewhere here. We are talking about this line then, right? Okay, and what is the angle? Minus 90. So this angle gives you minus 90. Okay, any question, guys? So you have to be careful in angles. Angles you have to be careful. Okay, and yeah, this is equal to minus 90 degree. Okay, what about this? This is minus 1, and here magnitude is 1. Okay, and what is the value of this? We have tan inverse, and what we have minus 1 plus 0I, right? So this really means minus 1 plus I0, and hence what is the angle? Angle is tan inverse 0 divided by minus 1. So what does it tell? It tells that cos is negative. Yeah, and the cos is negative. So cos is negative really means what? If the cos is negative, then it should be here or here and here. Yeah, but it's talking about 0. It says it's 0. Yeah, so I mean the sign is 0. So it has to be minus 80 degree, because this is the either you say 180 degree or minus 180 degree. But since we are from 0, you have to see just before that what is the value that will tell you whether it is going from this side or coming from this side anyway. So we have to look at that. So basically what it is telling us, we can write is minus 180. Okay, so you can, in order to confirm whether it is really minus 180 degree, you can take immediate value, so between this and this, you can take some value, say 0 plus I5, and you can see you get value which will be between minus 90 and minus 180. Then you know that this is increasing from 0, it is going minus 90 to minus 75, minus 105, let us say, to minus 180. Right? So this is why it is a minus 180, we will write here. Okay. Any question, guys? Okay. Same thing. It will be the same thing here. So this will be for minus 180 for this also. So this becomes minus 180 for this as well. Okay. Now next is 1 plus I. So if similar thing, we can work out that way, and what we will get in this case will be simply is equal to 1 plus I 1 square divided by 2, right? And this 1 minus 1, we get simply I, right? Or simply 0 plus I, right? Okay. And hence this tells us that that's G equal to 1, and angle G equal to, so angle G is equal to tan inverse, and what? 0. We have 1 divided by 0. So 1 divided by 0, and both are positive. Yeah. So the 1 divided by 0 will tell us this is which quadrant? But one sign is positive, right? And cos is 0. So we are talking about this line, right? So we can say this is plus 90, right? This is plus 90. So this will be equal to 90 degree. Yeah. Okay. Now then we have 0 plus 0, 0. Yeah. So okay. Now again, in order to see how exactly this is working, whether you have this point, this one. So in any case, we have at a 90 degree. So at when you are going like this one, we started from angle 0, then minus 80. Most likely this is going, so you can say or minus 270 degree as well, right? So because we are progressing minus way, so going like this way, you can also say like that. Yeah. So from 0 minus or minus 270, you can also write minus 270 degree. Okay. Now from here, then you get this, and hence here, what do you get? You get GS, the G equal to 1, and angle of G is equal to angle of G will be equal to same as the initial one. So tan inverse 0 divided by 1, and this is equal to 0. Okay. Okay, so now you have to plot it, and the plotting, you know how it is. So you have angle G, you have the value of the magnitude of z, right? So angle of z started with 0. Yeah, so we got 0, we got minus 90 degree, we got minus 80 degree, we got minus 270, or we get 90 degree, we got value. So since it has to be continuous, so basically this is 90 degree, or call it minus 270 degree. You will see that this is, if you take more resolution, more points, automatically you will see, you will get minus 180 degree, then minus 190 degree, and so on. And finally you will get minus 270 degree. And then finally it go back to 0 basically. Yeah, so what we see is something like this one. Value is, mostly we are looking at 1, right? So at 0 we have 1, then this 1, 1, 1, 1. We have seen this way. Okay, so how will it look like? So now we are going to plot it. So in all cases, we got magnitude of z equal to 1. See, all 1 only. Yeah, so but we may make some mistake. If we take intermediate points, we may get some other value. Okay, so you have to be careful. So based on this, it looks like a circle. And you can check for other values as well, if is it true or not. So let us say put here only we can check. Okay, so let's say s equal to let's say s equal to put minus like plus I2. Okay, here. So between this and this, we put 0 plus I2. Then what happens? Do we get still get 1? So GS will be equal to 1 plus I2, sorry, 1 plus I2 divided by, sorry, 1 minus I2, right? 1 minus I2 divided by 1 plus I2, right? That really means 1 plus 4, and then we have 1 minus 4 minus 2 times 2, 4 I. Right? Now you see, okay, we did not have to do it, okay, this way. Okay, it will be 1 only in that case, right? Correct. Okay, we should not have done this. Okay, we don't need to expand it. So given this one, g will be equal to root 1 plus 4 divided by root 1 plus 4 is equal to 1. So that really means it makes sure that g will be equal to 1. So we know that. Okay, so it's surely just circle. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, so how to, now we know that this is a circle only. Yeah, and how it goes, this is going from 1 and minus 1, right? So we have 0 and 1. So angle is 0, so angle is 0 and magnitude is 1. Yeah, so we have this point. Then the second is minus 90 and 1. So we have this point. Third is minus 180 is 1. So this point. Fourth is okay. Fourth is 90 degree, which is 1 only. Okay. Right. Okay. And then and the last one is going back to 0. So this point. So now we can plot, and this will go like this. So this is the Nyquist plot, and this is going clockwise. And right, so that means what? You have minus 1 here, this is 1 here, right? And this is how it is going on. This is I here, right? This is minus I here. And what are you plotting? You are plotting the G, right? You are plotting GS. Okay. Okay, now second part is, okay, so question, as you know, this is a, in plotting, it takes a lot of time basically, and hence accordingly you have to look at it. Yeah, so I mean, but still I went through the whole process so that you can understand. Okay, now second part is the predict stability for this system. So what it's saying, it is saying that using Nike's stability criterion, determine the stability of the closed loop system. Yeah, so this is the question. Now, this is right now exactly passing through -1. Yeah, so, and what is the stability? What is the Nyquist stability criterion? Okay, so Nyquist stability criterion, and this tells you z equal to n plus p, or also you write n equal to z minus p, where z means number of zeros, and and p is number of poles. Okay. Okay, so basically, what is the meaning of that? This really means that if we have okay. So this we are talking about that if we have S plane, right, which is a semicircular, we have S plane where we have one graph which like we are a semicircular plot basically, and with radius infinity. Okay, and for the same S, if we plot, let us say we are plotting any the GS, that is open loop GS, meaning that the open loop transfer function, we are plotting that. Yeah, and it tells you that it will, so there is a theorem that this will, you know, make a loop around -1. It will make a loop around -1 equal to n, where n is equal to z minus p, where z and p means that zeros and poles on the right hand side of the plane. Yeah, that's what it tells. And you know that any zeros and poles on the right hand side is basically will lead to stability. So we don't want that, right? So that really means if we have, so going back to the original problem, if we have GS given, GS is given equal to K1 minus S divided by S plus 1, then what do we have? We have S, in this case we have, for the open loop transfer function, what do we have? For the open loop, we have pole is equal to S equal to -1, right? So open loop transfer function does not have pole in the right side, right S-plane. And hence, that really means 1 plus GS or 1 plus KGS. Okay, K will come later. So right now, 1 plus GS will be equal to, say, 1 plus 1 minus S and S plus 1. You will see that what we have is S plus 1 will come here also. So that really means if the open loop transfer function has like open loop transfer function, this is closed loop. Open loop and closed loop will have the same number of poles basically on the right hand side, right? So that means if GS doesn't have any on the right side, 1 plus GS also will not have anything on the right side. So that really means closed loop, no pole on right S-plane. Right S-plane. Okay, so that's a good thing. So that really means we can say P equal to 0, right? Pole equal to 0. It guarantees that really that P equal to 0, and we are talking about the closed loop, like here, like N equal to Z minus P. If you are the one we are writing here, Z N equal to Z minus P. Z and P both relates to the closed loop system. However, we can guess based on the open loop. So N equal to G minus P, where P equal to 0. Right? Now that really means what? For this system, N equal to Z. Right? So number of closed Y. So if we have, for this system, if we have plot something like this, then what happens? In this case, N equal to 1. This tells you that Z equal to 1. That means there will be 1 0. This will come on the right hand side of the S-plane. And if 1 0 of this, of 1 plus GS is on the right side, that really means the system, it will make system unstable for some value of, at least for K equal to 1, right? Because we are assuming K equal to 1, and we are plotting. If we are getting like this one, it will be like that, because this is clockwise. That's why. Okay, we want to avoid it. If we have like this system, then actually we have N is equal to 0, because then N is this minus 1 is here, it is not encircling, hence we have N equal to 0. If N equal to 0, that really means tells you N equal to Z, and hence tells you Z equal to 0. Hence there is no zeros on the right hand side, and hence it will make sure that the system will be stable. So for the given scenario, our plot is something like this, and this exactly passes through -1. That means this is marginally stable, right? So I mean, this is basically actually not stable, yeah. But to make it stable, the line should not pass through -1. Either it has to not enclose, because this is clockwise. So for stability, you need -1 will be here, and this will be clockwise. This will be passing like this. Yeah. Why? So that we have N equal to 0, and that will tell us that 0 is equal to number of 0 equal to 0. Yeah. So this should be like this. And when it be possible? When is it possible? Now, when you have drawn with K equal to 1, you have this passing through -1. When you have, if you want to convert from here to here, what will you do? K less than 1. So K less than 1, automatically this will move, right? So k, because you are going to multiply this factor to this, and hence the radius will reduce. The moment the radius reduces, this will not include -1, and in that case number of n will be 0, and hence number of 0 will be 0, hence the system will be stable. So for stability, you can check, you can guess from here that k less than 1 for stability. Yeah, this is how you do. So it took a long time, but the idea was to show everything from the beginning to the end. Any question, guys? Okay. Okay, so now look at other. Okay, so 715, it says consider. So this I'm leaving on use B715. So you use the same technique. So what it says, consider the unity. In this case, GS equal to 1 over S minus 1. Okay, and what is the problem here? The problem is that at S equal to 0, this is not defined, right? So this will be infinity in that case. So in that case, what you will do is, so instead of plotting for this, going like this and this and this is S, right? You will plot for, you will have a small radius here and big radius here. So you will have infinity here. However, so you will trace this. This is S plane, right? So you will go like this, then this like this, and like this. So wherever it's not defined, you will avoid it. So this will, you will take the small epsilon, and for that you are going to put you can put epsilon equal to 0, tends to 0, and that way you can find out. So that's what you have to do in this case. Otherwise, the process remains the same. Yeah. Okay. Now 16, 17. Okay. Now 16. Okay. So let's go on. So B7, 16. It says consider the closed loop system. So system is like this. So plus we have GS. Okay, and then goes like this, minus. Okay, and what information is given? Consider the closed loop system shown in figure. So this figure, GS has no poles in the right half S plane, has no poles, so P equal to 0 is given, a state of it, right? So closed loop system, GS has, actually he says GS doesn't have any pole. GS doesn't have any pole on the right half S plane. So if GS does not have, 1 plus GS will also not have, right? So 1 plus GS will also not have. Okay, because 1 plus GS is characteristic equation for the closed loop system, right? So this will also not have, hence P equal to 0. So we are getting from P equal to, oh sorry, has no poles. Okay, no poles, P equal to 0. Now, if the Nyquist plot of GS is shown in the figure 7158, is its system stable? So 7158. Let us see. Okay. Okay. So figure is like this. Yeah. So figure -1 is here, and then we have like this. Okay, and then goes like this. Yeah, and then goes like this. This is the figure. Okay, so here goes like this. So we are assuming this is going like this, this, and so on. Yeah, okay, and -1 is here. Okay, Now, what is the question? Question is, if the Naki's plot is like this one, is the system stable? Okay, so is the system is stable or not? Okay, now p equal to 0 we know, and we also know n equal to z minus p, and p equal to 0, hence n equal to z straight away, right? Okay, now number of 0 we can find out, or simply z equal to n, where n has to be clockwise loop around -1. So if you see here, this one is anti-clockwise, right? So this becomes -1. So if you say n, we can count. N will be here. This is minus anti-clockwise, so hence -1. And then we have this, which is clockwise, right? So this one is clockwise, right? So this is clockwise and this is anti-clockwise, and so we are going to write +1. Okay? So we have one loop which goes from here to here is clockwise. A loop which goes here to here is anti-clockwise. So -1 + 1 equal to 0. Hence it tells z equal to 0. That means there is no 0 on the right S-plane. Okay, so that really means that this guy is stable. Yeah. Okay, now next is instead of -1 being here, -1 is here. Then what happens? So this is like this. So you have like this, and then yeah, and then we have like this, and here is the -1 here. Okay, in this case, what happens? Already, this is the same problem. So finally, we found out n equal to z minus p, where p equal to 0, which is given. So we have z equal to n, and n equal to what? N has to be clockwise. So we have this clockwise, we have this clockwise. So n equal to 2. N equal to 2. That really means z equal to 2. So there are 2 zeros on the right S-plane. That means unstable. Right? Got it? Any question, guys? Yes or no? What? Okay. Okay, guys, if there is no question, okay, thank you very much. There was a request for sharing marks so far, pre-end term, so I will do that, okay? So before your exams begin, I will try to do it, okay? I will share with you, okay? Okay, guys, all the best with your INSEM exam, okay? Okay, thank you.
Sir, NSEM exam will cover portion after the midsem, or it will be from all the lectures?
So this will be after the midsem, okay, mostly. But you remember that there are a few things like a step response, ramp response, all those things was there in the vibrations as well. So there may there may be vibration system coming here also, but those things relevant here also, there also, right? Like
So, like their
yeah,
application, like their application on that
sure,
on the control theory part. That
right,
portion meant.
sure, it
Okay.
can come.
Thank
Yeah.
you, sir.